being scrutinized as someone with a microscope studies creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water. Minds immeasurably superior to ours slowly and surely drew their plans against us.
Minds immeasurably superior to ours drew their plans against us. I want to make it clear that I don't think their minds are immeasurably superior to ours, but I also want to make it clear that I'm quite sure that they do think their minds are immeasurably superior to ours. A lot of them, including the politicians who have been elected to serve us, think they are now our masters, and they don't care about the public that they're supposed to be serving. And as for the rest of the Bilderbergers, they are CEOs of large corporations or newspaper magnates. They are all what I would call collaborators. So what does the local paper have to say about this event? Watford's elected mayor, Dorothy Thornhill, said she had mixed feelings about whether the summit was a good thing for the town. She said, "I have my concerns about it, because it does attract people who can and do cause violence and disturbance." Hello? Have you been following the Bilderberg meetings as I have for the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 years? Because I've been following, and there has never been any example of violence. I can't think of a single example. There was one bloke who was arrested simply for crossing the road, but that was really an outrageous arrest. He had shown no violence at all, and in fact the behaviour has been absolutely perfect at every event. Whether it will be this time, I don't know, because it's a possibility that it will be provocateur, but at the moment the Bilderberg has a record of non-violence. So you are just reporting, you're stating something, Dorothy Thornhill, which is completely false, and you should be deeply ashamed of yourself. So what's the reaction of the good people of Watford? Well, from what I could gather from reading the letters in the local newspaper, it seems as though people are reacting mostly with anger at the cost. They don't seem to be worried about the fact that this is a secret meeting which is held in private, and that topics will be discussed which will have a dramatic impact on everybody's lives, but they will not be reported. It's just the cost that is worrying people. So they're going to be there. What is the cost? They're going to be there from the 6th to the 9th of June, and all 227 rooms at the Grove Hotel are booked for the duration of the meeting, and the Hertfordshire Constabulary has confirmed that it will be policing the event. Now, we know that they're already policing the area. There was a video that went up in which somebody walked down the country lane leading to the hotel and was pursued by helicopter and accosted by police. So the operation is going to be incredibly expensive. So of course the local newspaper comments as you would expect. Among the more outlandish critics are writer and public speaker David Icke, who claims the group's influential steering committee is made up of 12-foot lizards known as reptoids. And they always bring that in, don't they? They always do that to totally discredit anybody who has an opinion about Bilderberg, and a legitimate opinion. So what's all the fuss about? Well, let's have a look at the topics that are likely to be discussed in Bilderberg. I think there have been some leaks, and we know pretty well what the topics that are going to be discussed are. The threat to social stability caused by declining living standards and wealth. Smart cities to spy on every aspect of public behaviour. Cyber resilience, internet security, digital wildfires. A ministry of truth for the internet. 3D printing, the prevention of the democratization of production. Global pandemic caused by resistance to antibiotics. Arming the Syrian rebels, carving up the country and toppling Assad. An Israeli attack on Iran's nuclear facilities, increased inflation, more aggressive powers of tax collection, increased power of central banks a la Cyprus, more bailouts to prop up the euro, how to avoid referendum on EU in the UK. So you think these aren't important topics? You think that we shouldn't know what our supposedly elected representatives are discussing and what theories they're coming up with to solve the problems? Well, obviously they do, because this is completely off the record and it's outrageous that this is happening. So what does the Prestitute Press have to say about this? I am concerned about the use of the police resource, but it is very good the Grove has been deemed a prestigious enough venue. That's the mayor speaking, I think, and it's pretty pathetic. What a toady. The guest list for the small, flexible, informal and off-the-record international forum, they make it sound very attractive, don't they? Small, flexible, informal and off-the-record. Actually, they don't say that they denied it existed for many years, and it was only thanks to the great Jim Tucker that we know about the Bilderberg event as an annual event, and now they're beginning to admit to the fact that they meet, but it's quite harmless, it's just boys getting together and having fun until the meeting is underway. But attendees to previous events, and I've shown this before in other videos I've made, have included George Osborne, many times I may add, Lord Mandelson, Kissinger, Queen Beatrix of the Netherlands, most people, including Cameron, who have become important politicians, have attended Bilderberg and have been selected there. We don't select our politicians, they do. Let's make that clear. And then they just add as a sort of footnote, in 1993 Tony Blair denied to Parliament that he had attended the Bilderberg meeting. And you'll notice that they omit to mention, this is how appallingly immoral the press have become, they omit to mention that he lied to Parliament, and I'm going to present the proof of that now.
One serious question. You denied being a member of the Bilderberg group. The Guardian reported that you came there in 1993. What do you say to those people who have questions about the Bilderberg group?
About the Bilderberg group? Yeah, it's a really useful group, actually. I remember going there back to that in 1993, and it's a great way, too, from people from different parts of the world to get together. So it's been good.
Do you think it's a conflict of interest? I mean, the heads of media, corporations, banking, meetings,
yeah.
without the media even mentioning it?
I don't know. It may have changed a bit since my day.
So he basically admits lying to Parliament, but that's okay, because politicians can lie as much as they like and nothing happens. Absolutely nothing has happened to this man. It's really good to see We Are Change putting these politicians on the spot. I'm going to show you another clip now, and I want you to think about the significance of what I'm going to show you.
My name is Bill Bilderberg from Brooklyn College, and I know you wrote many articles, but I think the most telling one about you is the 2008 one called Conspiracy Theories, where you openly advocated government agents infiltrate activist groups of 9/11 Truth and also stifle dissent online. I was wondering, why do you think it's the government's job, or why do you think the government should go after family members who have questions about 9/11, responders who were lied to about the air, survivors whose testimony commits, and also government whistleblowers that were gagged because they released information that contradicts the official story? Why do you think the government should do that?
I think, as Ricky said, I've written hundreds of articles, and I remember some and not others. That one I don't remember very well. I hope I didn't say that. But whatever was said in that article, my role in government is to oversee federal rulemaking in a way that is wholly disconnected from the vast majority of my academic writing, including that. So
No, I'm just asking because you may be the next Supreme Court Justice, Obama will appoint you, and you did write those things, and that's why I want to bring them up to you.
So all I can say is there are a lot of things that I've written, I guess. There are even more things I'm said to have written. And that, I may agree with some of the things I've written, but I'm not exactly sure. I focus on what my boss wants me to do.
By the way, that's a chap called Cass Sunstein. If you're from the UK, you may not know him. But you get the idea, don't you? And can you get your head around this? Because I'm finding it quite difficult. We are not allowed to know what these people are discussing. Even though we pay for it, we're not allowed to know. But when we try to get together and try to combat this sort of thing, with meetings, etc., including, they mention people like the 9/11 families who are concerned about the official story and don't believe it. And these groups are infiltrated. So we have no freedom, but the people who are supposedly our servants, who are supposedly governing us, do have freedom to do what they like and to run our lives in the way they want to run them. Now, I understand that there's going to be a conference before Bilderberg, which is a Google conference, and I don't know whether Google, for example, are paying for their own conference, but it's going to be a huge conference before the Bilderberg meeting, and there's talk about the fact that Bilderberg and Google are merging in a sense. And what is happening quite clearly is that we've got a global elite now who are, in my opinion, taking cocaine. And they have absolutely no concerns about, they have no restraint on what they believe. And they think they can do anything. They think they are invincible. This is very, very dangerous, my friend. Incredibly dangerous. They're going to try to control every aspect of our lives, and they think that they can use science to do so. When I first saw this water feature, which is in the middle of a lake in the Grove Hotel, I actually thought this was a Photoshop. Uplifting, this is not. It is absolutely horrible. But I think it's an indication to discerning people, at least, that this is the global elite leaving their scent mark on the hotel. Nobody would put a water feature like this that wanted to have a nice atmosphere. It is horrible. And this should be an indication to people as to what the global elite are actually intending and how incredibly dangerous this meeting is. We must insist that we know what is said at these meetings, that there are reporters reporting on it. The prostitutes, I'm afraid, are going to be seen very soon as collaborators, because they are collaborators in the emergence of tyranny in this country and the world. Finally, a word of caution. I don't like the sound of this. Apparently there's going to be a security exercise or drill planned, not only in the area of the Grove Hotel, but also inside the hotel itself. We know that in the past, with many events, there have been drills going on at the same time, and that's meant to confuse when there's a false flag event and prevent the wrong people from being arrested. That is, people who are taking part in a false flag event. I hope this isn't going to be a false flag event. There is a more innocent interpretation as well. It says a security exercise in and around the hotel will presumably be put in place as cover behind which the participants may continue their deliberations in peace. I hope it is just that, and I hope there's not going to be any provocateur violence, because I'm quite sure there won't be violence at Bilderberg except if it is provocateur.